This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, thanks, Ganesh. Okay, guys, so let me introduce myself. And a very good morning to everyone. Myself, Shiva Prasad, currently working as a cloud consultant. I have experience working with various cloud guys, out of which AWS is, I have a keen and very good experience working with AWS. Apart from AWS, I work with various other clouds as well, like GCP, Azure, and on-premise clouds like OpenStack and VRA as well. Okay, so training is a part-time that I do, and I'm training from past 6.5 years to 7 years, and AWS I'm actually training from past 2.5 to 3 years. From 2.5 years, I'm just uh, giving trainings on AWS as well. So there are so many things that got changed in the past years, guys, even in the current going forward as well, the kind of requirement that people are asking and all. So I'll try to keep this session simple and short from my perspective. And since we have so many audience here, and I will hear from you, understand what are your queries and try to understand them. So let me just complete what I have to complete from my perspective, like an overview of what AWS is, why people are moving into AWS and all. I'll keep that very short. And since it's a demo session, I want myself to interact with you guys and understand what your queries are and address those things. Does that sound good, guys? Since we're already 15 past 8, is that okay? Technology, please. Okay, thank you. So let me give a quick introduction, guys. Like I said, assuming that you guys are not aware of what AWS is, assuming you have no knowledge of what cloud is, so I have put those content here. Okay, so if you already know it, please try to hold back, so I'll come back to you and take your questions. So the whole purpose of this session is to assuming no people have any idea about cloud, and I have put those very simple concepts here just to talk about what cloud is. Okay, so guys, now in the industry, cloud has become a very buzzword, right? Everybody is talking about cloud, no matter what. Be it a pharma, be it enterprise, be it a software development, be it a startups. Everybody is talking about cloud, and no matter what, everybody has to get into cloud. The reason behind that is that the traditional silos that we have, the kind of investment that people are making on the on-premise data center, and the kind of efforts that we need to maintain those on-premise data centers is only the reason why people are getting into cloud. Okay, so we as a personal, or we as a common individual, we know cloud as a remote storage, right? We assume cloud is nothing but a remote storage. Our Google Drives, iCloud, Dropboxes, right? And we started using cloud by storing our personal files, our pictures, taking the backup of your mobile phone, storing your contact somewhere else. If you lose your phone, you don't have to worry. You just sync with your email account, and all the contact comes to you. That's how we started cloud. And in fact, that was this stepping or the starting point for organizations to get into cloud. And people were haven't stopped there yet. Okay, people went beyond those limitation of using cloud as a storage, and they started using compute, they started using network, they started giving us SaaS services over cloud. Let's have a look at them. So no matter what, one common infrastructure. Okay. Uh, One moment. How about now? Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So one common thing that we need to agree upon is that to access a cloud storage or anything for that matter, XYZ, the only common media that we need is the internet, right? Without internet, I won't be able to sync up my mobile phone with the Gmail account. Without mobile phone, I won't be able to take a backup of my mobile phone to the cloud. So for everything, we have a common platform, which is internet. That's what we call, when we're talking about cloud, we say that something which is accessed over internet, right? So without internet, we can't imagine of what cloud is basically. So that is the one common media that we should have in order for us to access our cloud services. And then when we say, guys, we are storing our data, so one common thing is, say I want to store some 500 MB of my pictures, and my laptop is out. My laptop has only 100 MB of free space. Will I be able to store 500 MB of data, guys? Or let's assume I want to store some 10 GB of data, but my laptop has only 5 GB of data. Will I be able to accommodate 10 GB of data there? Logically, no, right? So even when we say that we are storing our data in cloud, in the back end, those are stored on the hardware itself, right? So Gmail is offering us free email services, but where are our emails stored? They are giving us storage. We store pictures, our documents, right? Audios, videos, we share across people, and all of this is stored somewhere in the data center, right? So even there, we need the physical storage, SSD drives, hard disk, network, all of this has to be there. But we as a end clients, we as a customers, we are least bothered about how this is maintained in the backend. That's the one advantage that you get with the cloud services, guys. Reason, say if you are maintaining your own data, it's your headache, right? Making sure it is, your disk is always available, making sure it is not corrupted, making sure you can always access it. It's your headache now. But when you are storing it in Google Drives, when you are storing it in OneDrives, when you are storing it in iCloud, it is their responsibility to give you a service. If something goes wrong, you can immediately reach out to them, ask them, request them, or you can also sue them up if something goes wrong against the policies and all. You have that right, right? So one common point that we need to agree upon here is that when we talk something in cloud, people assume that it is not available, it is something which is virtual. Not really, guys. It has to be there physically running on top of a physical hard disk. If it is your 10 GB of data, the 10 GB of data is stored somewhere in the hard disk in their data center. So we cannot deny the fact that there is no cloud without the data center. Data center has to be there. But the only fact is that we as a clients are least bothered about the maintenance of those data centers. We don't really bother about the hardware maintenance. We don't really bother about the high availability. We don't really bother about the maintenance cost. We don't really uh, bother about the things. Okay. So if you look here in this space, the first vendors that used to come up was iCloud, Dropboxes, and Amazon Web Services. But Amazon Web Services went one step ahead, and they started not only the data as a service or data as a cloud service. They went up with infrastructure as service as well, right? Which we call as IaaS, which is the a very main entity for the cloud services to function now. When we talk about infrastructure, guys, right? Storage is only one part of the infrastructure, but in order for the storage to run, we need to have a server, right? Or the application which is holding our data. To run that application, we need an operating system, be it any operating system for that matter. And that operating system always needs a physical hardware. So when I talk about a physical hardware, we talk about RAM, CPU, right? Motherboard, NIC cards, network connectivity, all of this comes into picture. And now Amazon is offering those services to you. So if you want to run an application, so you want to start up your own company, you want to run an application, agreeing upon a fact that we want a web server. And in order for that web server to hold the data, we need to have a database server. All right. That to happen, we need to have a database server. So in order to build a web server and a database server, we need to have a physical infrastructure, right? And that physical infrastructure, buying that physical infrastructure would be a painful for a startup company, right? So whereas when you get into the cloud, it is like a cakewalk for you. You don't have to buy anything upfront. You don't have to buy anything upfront, but just take service from the vendor, and that vendor is none other than AWS now, right? So you don't have to worry about the RAM, CPU, network, and disk. You just rent them. If you are using it for 10 hours a day, you only pay for 10 hours a day. If you are using 365 days a year, you pay only for 365 days. So it's all we say is pay as you go. You have to pay for what you are being consumed at any point of time. You don't have any upfront investment. There is no upfront investment at all. And apart from that, that is which is infrastructure as service, there are so many other components as well, which we are where we have to buy those solutions individually on premise. Whereas if it is a cloud, all of them are available to you on a one single pane of glass, like compute power, networking, storage. Security is also by default inward. You can have the world class security here. Analytics, you want to visualize the data flow, analyze the things, databases, networking. So all of these things are by default inbuilt. We as an architects, our job is to use the right solution to the right client at the right time and build the solution according to the requirements and hand it over to them. Okay, that's what we as a architects we do that. Okay. So why do individuals and companies use AWS, guys? So these are the offerings of cloud. They give you database as service, they give you storage as service, they give you compute as service, network as service, backup as service, right? High availability as a service. All of this is given to you. But why should I use when these they are giving us offerings? What is the advantage that I as an individual and advantage that I as a company that I get, right? So I have put some couple of comparisons here just to express why people are getting into cloud. The reason why everybody is getting into cloud is high availability and fault tolerance, guys, which is by default available. You don't have to do anything. So let me take a small example from this picture here. Say now I am working on a project, right? Or let's say suppose I went to a vacation and I have taken all the beautiful pictures of my family and friends, and all the pictures are stored in my mobile phone. And for some reason my I lost my mobile phone. Someone has theft my mobile phone. So what is our feeling, guys? What is that we think of? Do we really bother about the phone that we lost, or do we really bother about the pictures that we lost? I mean to say the data, right? We really worry about the data that we lost rather worrying for the physical device that we lost, right? So during those situations, we know that data is more valuable than the physical device. So when our data is backed up or our data is stored in a third-party solution provider like iCloud, Dropbox, or AWS, even if you lose your mobile phone, you don't have to worry, right? You can get a brand new mobile phone and sync up your data. Your data is available now. You have worked on a project and you worked in your home physical desktops, and now you are traveling. Somehow you need that file to be accessed. You are in a very remote location and you don't have access to your physical desktop. But fact is that if you store that file in the cloud storage, you have the freedom to access it from everywhere, wherever you want, right? So even if it's a device failure or it is a high availability concept, when you're away from the systems, your applications or your data is going to run remotely without any interruptions in the cloud. So what I always believe is that high availability and fault tolerance are one of the key pillars for the cloud to run, and why every individual or the organizations has to use. They have to leverage this high availability and fault tolerance, which is inbuilt, which is coming by default without you investing any money in it. But that's not so easy on premise, guys. Achieving high availability and fault tolerance in an on-premise data center would be a challenging stuff, as well as it needs lot of investment as well. Whereas in cloud, that becomes so easy. You don't have to invest much amount in order for you to gain high availability and fault tolerance. So these are the major two reasons why people can use cloud, which is high availability and fault tolerance. And the other story here. See now, there is a company, a software company, and we have an on-premise data center. And if you see the graph now, in 2016, they are running some XYZ application with 1,000 users. So as an architect or as a capacity planner, my job is to make sure that I have a sufficient capacity to accommodate 1,000 users. So based on the requirement, I gave them 3 physical servers or some applications for that matter. Yes, 3 servers have been given to them. And business went really well, okay, and everybody is happy, organization is happy, and they estimated that there would be 5,000 users in 2017. It's a 1 year gap. Within 1 year they expected 4 times more the number of users. Yes, they made the infrastructure ready for that. That's really good. And in 2017, as per the estimations or as per the graphs and the previous year statistics, they estimated for a 20,000 users, okay, and they made the infrastructure ready. They procured all the new servers, if you can see here, and everything is ready. But unfortunately, the business went upside down, and the estimation of 20,000 was stuck to only 7,000, where hardly there is a 2,000 increase in the users. And imagine, as a company, when I have invested so much of money, assuming that I'll have this much of demand, but unfortunately I'm not meeting up to the demand, what am I going to do with these servers, guys? So this is actually the main concern for every organization. So what I'm going to do with them now? These I have bought them, they're of no use, right? I bought them for the specific project. I'm not using it, but still I have to maintain them in the inventory. I have to maintain them in the data centers. Power, AC, cooling, manpower, everything is extra burden to me now, right? This is how it is. And let me put the other way around. Imagine, as per the estimations, they have only 20. They have access for 20,000 users. But unfortunately, business went so well. Now the 20,000 requirement went to 30,000 users. So now where am I going to get the additional requirement for 10,000 users, guys? I don't have that capacity available on premise, right? So scalability is one of the biggest challenge on premise. Either you have to use money, either you have to compromise on the business. These are the two standards that we have. Say you estimate something and you bought the requirement for expecting those things, and then that doesn't meet there, you are at stake. Or as per the expectations or estimations, you bought a server, but now your business went beyond that, again you are at stake, right? So buying a new servers, putting them in place, making sure they're up to date, making sure everybody is satisfied, that becomes so challenging on premise. But this becomes so easy in cloud, where you have the option of adopting those changes as and when you need. See, in 2016, I started with 10,000 users. I went to 4,000, came back to 3,000. Now I don't have any extra servers here. I am using only the servers which I need at any point of time. No long-term commitments, no short-term commitments. Use what you want, pay only for what you want. So scalability and elasticity are the other two things that comes by default, where you are free from all of those tensions now. All of a sudden, the user search increases from 3,000 to 6,000. You don't have to worry. With a few clicks, literally few clicks, you will be able to bring up your 3 servers to 6 servers. So within no time, your infrastructure is ready. Whereas that is not quite achievable in the on-premise data centers, and that needs so much of planning and investment though. So the other two main pillars for the cloud is that scalability and elasticity, guys. So undoubtedly, I say these are the four main reasons for people to get into cloud, because you don't have to worry about high availability, fault tolerance, scalability, and elasticity. These are all the by default inbuilt capabilities within the cloud. Okay. And then that's why people are getting into cloud, and there is so much, guys. These are, I believe, these are the major points that we need to discuss. Okay, so we can discuss further with your questions. So I would stop here, guys. So now it's your time. Any questions that you have so far? Before I get further and understand what is that we as solution architect do and all. You can unmute yourself and talk, guys. Okay, it's suitable for freshers. Yes, absolutely.
Hello.
Yep. Hello.
Yes, presently I am BTech fourth year student.
Okay.
Yeah, it's suitable for me for getting a job.
See, as a fresher, when you come out into the market, people always put Java or .NET as their primary skill, right?
Yes.
So, but if you want to stand ahead of the crowd and all, putting this AWS, and since you said you are already in the fourth year, you can do a kind of major project on the cloud infrastructure, host your application. So that will always have a add advantage to you.
Yes.
Hello. Hi, Sivagar.
Yes.
Hi, hello, Anne.
Yes,
Hi,
hello.
sir. This is Murali, and I'm currently working in an MNC, and I have total 6 years of experience.
Okay.
So I'm in a different domain. Actually, I'm working. So if I go with this AWS, how would be the future? I mean, what kind of job opportunity in the market with this AWS concept?
So if you say, if you can actually tell what domain is yours, and I'll have a better idea.
Mine is a application support, level 3 support. So it was
Okay.
a bug fixing, enhancement requesting, so user stories creation. So those that's kind of it's a vast application we are maintaining. It's a
Oh,
dealer application.
okay. Okay. Understood. So it's more of a DevOps kind of thing, right? You might be working on like agile management, status updates, fixing those things. Am I right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, okay. So yes, yes, guys. I also see other couple of questions. Is it totally admin job and all? So now, guys, thing is, everybody, no matter what you are into, if you are into the IT organization, right? Be it anything, be it a pharma or be it anything. If you are in the IT, I mean, when I say IT, you are dealing with applications, you are dealing with databases, you are dealing with network, you are dealing with monitoring. For every of those admins, cloud, I don't say AWS, I say cloud is a kind of one stop destination, right? So there is no way forward without the cloud. And literally why AWS in this space is that AWS has a more market share comparatively with any other cloud in the market, right? So the opportunities are going to be huge. So I want every one of you to just come out that state where you think that is it suitable for me. Yes, it is suitable for every system administrator. It is suitable for every developer. It is suitable for every database engineer. It is suitable for every application engineer. Reason, everybody going forward is going to host their applications in cloud, some or the other cloud. Like I said, I'm just rephrasing my sentences, guys. It is mandatory, it doesn't need to be an AWS. It is going to be cloud technology, right? So at this point, you, when you are thinking, when you're just coming out of your boxes and assuming that will cloud has a better demand going forward, yes, absolutely. Down the lane, cloud is going to be one of the key major skill set that every a software engineer should have in the industry. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that is
Yes, sir.
mandatory. And what are we going to achieve in this is that we are going to understand those aspects. If I have an application already existing, or if I'm going for a new requirement, how am I going to plan? If you look into the previous statistics, earlier architect, we have a concept called architect. Architect is someone who is in industry from past 15 years, 20 years, who knows in and out of everything, right? Who knows operating systems, who knows networking, who knows database, who knows application. That person is called as an architect. But now that's not the situation here. Even a fresher who knows a cloud technology is architect now. He knows how to build the infrastructure, right? He doesn't need a 12 years of experience in order to do that. That's the stage that we are achieving here with out of the sessions here, right?
Hi, sir. Hi, sir. This is Lokesh.
Lokesh, yep, Lokesh.
Yeah. Is it mandatory to do the certification to get the job? So I
Not
have
really. See, to
two
get the
years
job, you
experience.
don't have to do the certification. That's a myth. People think that, having a
Mhm.
certification will get me a job. Not really. So having a certification might help you shortlisting your profile.
Okay.
Okay. At the end of the day, your performance, which matters, not the certification.
Yeah.
That was there 6 months before, where there was scarcity of resources and all. Now people are getting trained. Okay. You can always tell them that you are pursuing a certification, you are waiting for your organization to fund you for the certification, and you are ready for that. But as a skill set point of view, you can say that you are okay to work at any level.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, hi Shiva. My name is Srinath.
Hello, Srinath.
I work as a data analyst for a financial client. So
Okay.
actually, the thing is that most of the thing they want us to move the data to cloud. I see this is something new for us. So I work as a data analyst. So my client wants they want them they want to move the data from
Mhm.
enterprise data warehousing system to cloud system. So they want us to
Mhm.
like create a EC2 Linux instances and then put the information into the cloud using some
Yeah.
flat file, store them into a flat files systems or like that. So I'm not aware of this like something will be doing this kind of work in this session.
Absolutely, 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 guys. Like EC2, S3, storage, right? Copying the data, connecting to them,
Uh-huh.
establishing the network connections is what we do. That's what. So most of this course is of a hands-on, where, like I
Yeah.
said, there are so many services available. We won't get time to work on all of those, but the major services which every client needs
Uh-huh.
are the services that we are going to discuss in the sessions.
Yeah,
And it's
because I
not only
see.
discussion, we
Yeah.
work hands-on as well.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So because I see like most of the interview questions, they ask me this kind of questions like, did you get a chance to migrate the historical data into AWS Redshift or S3? So this is something that even I'm not sure because I have never done this because I was just involved in one project, but I didn't get chance to migrate the data to AWS S3 because something that they were asking like most of the interview questions I've seen this is something they're asking. So for for this reason, like I wanted to take up the AWS session. So
Definitely, definitely. These sessions will really help you out in getting that. And just to have a heads up here, guys, see, like I said, AWS is a combination of many things. And if you see now Sridhar talking about, he is into data analytics,
mhm.
right? The kind of questions that people are going to ask you as a data analyst are going to be something different. If you put your profile as a network administrator with AWS skill set, the kind of questions that a network engineer gets is completely different. If
Okay.
you put as an infrastructure admin and with AWS, the kind of questions that you get is going to be completely different because, like I said, AWS is a combination of many services. It's all about the use case. What I always say to people here is that understand the use case of what you're working on.
Mhm.
Okay, and yes, Sridhar, whatever you said, we are going to cover them as part, but I just want to give it more clarity on the question that you asked. to the other people as well.
Yeah, because now they're not using this EDW, Enterprise Data Warehousing System, the historical data that we had in Teradata. Now they want
Yes,
the
yes,
data to be completely migrated into cloud system
yes. And
down the line.
in
Yeah.
that matter, the Redshift is actually doing a very good job.
Okay.
So people are
So
migrating their things into Redshift and all.
okay. So what is a Redshift like? Is this a normal database, but it is stored in a cloud?
Redshift is a data warehouse solution. The only thing is that petabytes data can be stored there. It can use as a warehouse, and that can be easily integrated with other analytical tools like Informatica or Hadoop or any tool that for that matter, ETL tools and all. It is a kind of
Yes, yes.
database cluster.
Because I've seen even in Tableau, in Tableau visualization, Tableau desktop application, when I see the sources, they also mentioned AWS Redshift. We can also connect to Redshift.
Mm-hmm. True,
So
true.
I'm just wondering, like, what kind of this Redshift does?
So that's what Redshift is a kind of now. Tableau is one thing where you can visualize the data, right?
Yes,
And but
but
data has
it
to be
has an
stored somewhere.
option to connect to from source to desired files.
Yes. So now my data is stored. My traditional data is stored in database, which is nothing but Redshift. So when I
Uh,
connect that, my ETL tool or Tableau is going to pull the data from the existing databases, and you work on it to visualize whatever you want or how you want to analyze your data.
yes, yes.
That's how it works.
Good. So we'll be dealing this right down the line in this course.
So Redshift is altogether a different concept though, but you will have an idea of how to work with Redshift, what it is and all.
Yeah, okay.
Hey Shiva, um, I am currently work. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks.
yes, I can hear.
Yeah, I am currently working as a software quality assurance. Um,
Okay.
have very, you can say, negligible coding experience as such, but then I just wanted to shift my career and change my domain as such. So do you think
Okay.
I am a candidate who can switch to AWS and pursue AWS?
Definitely, guys. I also see a couple of questions asking, do I really need a coding skill? Let me be very honest here, guys. See, nowadays the situation is that we as an individual cannot go ahead without a coding skill. That's one fact that we everyone has to understand and everybody has to digest that. And if you take my perspective now, even I am a not very good coder though, but I am a learner in coding now. But you cannot run away from coding saying that I don't want to be completely into coding at all. So when we talk about coding, yes, you doesn't need to develop any application here though. All you need to know is understand the basic workflow, right? Say suppose, so let's take the same example that we talked about. I already have a data existing in X location. I want to send that data to Y location. So it may be manual process. If I'm doing it manually, I may have to do 10 steps. But why should I do the same 10 steps repeatedly for every time when I want this to happen? So I need to write a small script so that that script can help me migrate those data from A location to B location automatically without me available at any point of time. So that's the kind of coding that you need to have. When I say that's the that's not even coding though, it's called as scripting, right? So scripting has become mandatory for everyone. We cannot run away from it, and that's a heads up to everyone, guys. Okay, so when you put your profile as a AWS engineer, yes, you as a quality assurance, you are good to learn AWS because quality is everywhere there. When I'm building my applications on top of AWS, I need someone who can assure the quality of it. So with that, already experience of QA, getting into AWS is always add advantage to you. But the fact is that you should get yourself comfortable with scripting. And usually Python script is the best thing at that space because now everybody is getting into serverless concepts. Serverless concept is like Why should I dedicate a server to execute a script when I can do it through a serverless concepts? Everything is an API call. Let me trigger a specific script when I have a API call triggering to that. So scripting is mandatory, and I want everybody to just stick to that. And there is no way forward without scripting. And yes, apart from that, you are good to learn AWS. Like I didn't get your name, but yes, you can get into it.
All right, thank you. I'm Kaushalya, by the way.
Yeah.
Shiva, you will be teaching Python script as well, right? As a
Um,
part of
not
AWS.
Not really. No, time won't permit us to do those things. But what I can do is, I can tell you how we can actually integrate Python with AWS. Right? Amazon is having its own Boto 3 SDK, which is exclusively for AWS. And I can tell you how we can actually get used to it. How do we connect our SDKs to AWS, and how we can get through coding and all. It won't be possible for me to deliver the entire Python training in this session.
Okay. And we'll be doing any live demo or live coding.
See, the sessions are going to be live. The sessions are going to be live. We talk theoretically. We make sure everybody understand the concepts before we get into practical, and then we do the practical, and then you will be given assignments to work on. That's how things are going to work, and all of the sessions are going to be live, and everything is
Um,
recorded, and that will be shared with you.
how many days course is this again?
It's not the days, but I would say it's like 22 to 25 hours of session. But I always keep on adding some extra things because every day something or the other service comes up, and I want you guys to be ready, interview ready, and understand how the enterprise are going to work. So this 20 to 25 may go up to 27 to 28 hours of sessions, like hardly 1 month or
Uh-huh.
1.5 months.
And this includes your support on getting us ready for the interview, preparing us for the interview and stuff like that.
Yes, see, the sessions would go like that. I will be telling you what kind of questions you can expect in the interviews, what you should be ready, what you should be telling to the interviews, and those things will be covered in the same hours as well.
I mean, sorry, maybe I'm asking, what prerequisites should we have? Any prerequisites for getting started with AWS? Is it you need to know this 1, 2, 3, 4 for you to be comfortable in AWS, or there's nothing like that?
See, there are two ways to that. If you are a good learner, or if you can actually understand the limits and understand, okay, this is how things work, you can actually start as a layman. You don't have to be. But having the OS level knowledge with some bit of understanding of what is the infrastructure, how application would work will actually help you understand better. But no worries, we can discuss. Like I said, it all comes from the way you ask. When you are not aware of something, you can always ask a question that I'm not able to understand this. I can bring up my experience there and at least make you understand that this is how it is going to be. So as a layman person, you have to work on that to understand it better. But as a layman, even Amazon also says the same thing. You don't need any prerequisite to get started with AWS. But yes, you are going to come up with a lot of new concepts, new terminologies. So you need to get adjusted to those things and work on them simultaneously. Did I answer your question?
Hello.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Shiva.
Yep, yep,
Hello.
yep.
Yeah, there is any program language needed to AWS?
Like I said, Python would be helpful.
Python.
Yep.
Which stage?
See, guys, it's two things. Let me put it this way to make it more clear. Without coding, without writing a single piece of code, I can build an enterprise grade solution on top of AWS. And why do we need coding is that in order to overcome the daily task or manual task, we need a coding. That's it. That's the only point there. It's not mandatory that you need to know coding. Without coding, you can be a master in AWS. Coding is only needed for you to automate things. Okay, so when someone is hiring you, they expect that you know that part, you know how to automate. That is a challenge there.
In this section, you learn Python also.
Uh,
In this section, you learn Python also, or only AWS?
Only AWS. Like I said, Python SDK for AWS we'll be talking about like Boto 3. So job responsibilities and work we'll get on a day-to-day work is, some people might come to you and ask you for a new instance. Some people might tell you that I want to automate this. Some people might tell you that I want to migrate the data. Some may tell you that set up the network. Like I said, it all depends on the use cases that you're working on. If you are an infrastructure guy, you might get tasks related to infrastructure. If you are a database guy, you might be dealing with database engines. If you are an ETL guy or data engineer, you will be talking about something about data. That's how things are going to be, guys. So there is no such thing like in Linux, right? We have a day-to-day jobs, increasing the LVMs, making sure that kind of things you won't find it in AWS or cloud, that for that matter. Cloud is very vast. It depends on where you fit and what role you're playing in the organizations and all. But this course will help you adopt all of those things. You will know in and out of all those process, but you will be fit in somewhere in those entire stack.
Hello.
Yep.
Next, how many years it will stand in this generation?
Now I believe it is going to be for next 10 to 15 years.
10 to 15 years. What about the data science?
As long as cloud is there, the data science will be there. As long as we exist, the data exists, right?
Shiva, what about the practice sessions? I think the when you are teaching us, so you are showing the screen. So how would we need to practice? Are you helping us within the same time, or should we see these slides and we have to do ourselves the practice sessions?
So I will be showing the entire practical. If you can see here, this is the AWS console and all. So I will be showing the entire practicals, and like I said, you will be given exercises. So when I show you the
Okay.
practical, you understand the entire procedure of how to do things, and you will be
Uh-huh.
given tasks. Based on the task, you will be working on it. In case if you're stuck somewhere, I'll be helping you out to clear those things in the next class.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And one more thing, Shiva, what is the what kind of system we need it? Just we need a normal system, or is there any special configuration it would be?
A normal laptop with internet connection and the latest browser would helpful. That's it.
That's it. No need of
All you
install
need to
any.
have is
Uh,
nothing. All you need to have is internet connection. That's it. And Amazon is by default giving you a free tier account, guys, which is free from 1 year from the day you create your account. And most of
mhm.
our labs can be achieved without any cost.
Okay,
Hello.
got
Yep.
it.
Yeah, what is the
Yeah.
difference
Hello.
between AWS and Amazon, Google clouding and Amazon clouding?
Expected this question. See, if you can rephrase to my sentences, I was talking about cloud, right? Cloud is a technology, and this technology is adopted by multiple vendors. Google is one among them, Amazon is one among them, Azure is one among them. So there are no specific differences which I can talk about. There are three different vendors, right? Everybody has their own customers and all. And I also told the reason why we are learning AWS is that AWS has a more market share comparatively with any other two clouds, the major clouds like Azure and AWS. Sorry, Azure and GCP.
But Google is international brand, no?
It's not like that. It's not international brand, but in terms of cloud, if you see here, Amazon was the pioneer. Amazon was the first vendor to come up. Later on, Azure came into picture after 3 years, and then after 5 years of AWS establishment, GCP came into picture. Google came into picture. So if you look GCP now, GCP is 5 years older than AWS. Okay.
Shiva, question. So you said we all have a training account or trial account, right? So with the trial account, can we push or pull the data from the EC2
Yes, you can do that.
or will it be free or will it
Free.
involve any cost?
Free. So that depends on the amount of data that you are doing. There are certain limitations. Like 5 GB of storage you are good to use, and data in the sense like MBs of data would be fine, but if it is going beyond, yes, you will be charged for those things. There are limitations. It's not that everything is free of cost flat. It's limitations. If you talk about 5 GB of storage is free for you to store. If you're going beyond 5 GB, you have to pay for it.
Okay.
Like that. There are limitations. Within those limitations, it is free of cost.
Okay. So while you're teaching, can we do simultaneously practice, or it will be how?
It's up to you, sir. It's up to you. But I will be talking one side, and you have your own PC in front of you. You can simultaneously work on that, though. So if you think you can manage both hearing and doing, it's okay. You can do that.
Okay. And all the sessions will be recorded, right?
Yes, all the sessions will be recorded and they will be sent to you. We'll be creating a drive and we'll be uploading all the videos to the drive.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Priyanka.
So there is no lab simulator, guys. I think I just addressed attendee 35. I don't know your name though, but so you will be doing everything on the screen, and this is how the screen would look like in the production as well. There is no simulators. Everything that we do is directly on AWS itself, but the only thing is that it's a free tier account. There is no difference between free tier and enterprise account. The console, the steps that we do, the services that we use would remain the same.
Hey Shiva, this is Venkat.
Hi, hello Venkat.
Yeah, suppose if you are in a storage development background, how do we migrate to this position?
You have to put up your resume, say that you have 2 years of experience in AWS and clear the interview.
Yeah, but suppose if you take, any storage company, right? Like HP or something else. So, if I'm not wrong, they are not entered into the, AWS or into cloud.
No. Yes. Truly valid question though. Let me put this in different way, guys. And I also, someone was asking me what difference between GCP and Azure. So let me tell you a small comparison. We are getting ourselves into a cloud technology, right? So when you are learning AWS, say suppose you have spent around 2 months of time, 1 month of class, 1 month of aggressive practice, and you are well versed with the concepts, you understood in and out of it. The concepts are not going to change. Concepts are going to remain the same across platforms, be it a Azure, be it a GCP, be it a OpenStack, be it a private cloud, no matter what, the concept would remain the same. So let me give a different example. Say suppose I want to install SAP application, okay, some SAP application. The same SAP application, I can install it on mainframes, I can install it on AIX, I can install it on Windows, I can install it on Linux. But once I install the SAP application, the outcome of the application is going to be same, irrespective of platforms, right? Irrespective of the operating system. So you are, when you are spending your time and money in learning AWS, you are good to work across any cloud platforms. All you need to know is the terminology. If you are working for HP, exclusively for HP might be building their own cloud. But for them, the IaaS, infrastructure as service, platform as service, and software as service would remain the same. Those are not going to change.
Yeah.
Okay, so a different example altogether, which I always like. I like this example. If you are learning a car, imagine you are learning a car for the very first time, right? You go to a car driving school. You learn it on a very old one, which is used by so many people. You learn on a Maruti 800 or some old car. But we are not going to buy the same car, right? You understood the technology of a car. You know how to shift gears. You know when to brake. You know the margins and all. So you can always ride an Audi with that experience, right? All you need to do is adjust with the technology. You need to understand the terminology of it. So my confidence here is that when you are spending your time in AWS, you are good to work across any other cloud as well. You can straight away put in your resume that you have experience working with GCP, because you know the concepts. You have to do little work. If you're spending 60 hours of time in learning AWS, hardly you need 10 hours of time to understand GCP, 10 hours of time to understand Azure. You can showcase those things in a resume, say that yes, you have experience working across cross platforms. That's where you stand away from the crowd. And putting those things in mind, I'm also giving you like a couple of hours of session at the end of this AWS, where we talk about the differences between AWS and GCP. Like someone was talking about, Google is a well-known client, right? Very reputed client. Yes, that's true. GCP is doing a very good job in terms of data analytics and machine learning. And I am a GCP professional too. I did my GCP certification previously. I know the demand that's going to come up with the GCP. So putting those things in mind, I want my students to be one step ahead than the rest of the crowd. We are also talking about the differences between the comparison, it's not the differences, the comparison between AWS and GCP. Once you are aware of those comparisons, you are good to put or showcase in your resume that you also have GCP experience. That's how things will work.
Hello.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
much of explanation, guys. Hope you understood.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep, thank you. Yes, someone was talking.
Hello.
Yep, hello.
As a fresher, which side is good? Are developer or admin?
Start with admin. Okay, if you understand admin part, development would be easy. Other way around would be difficult though, but start as admin and get into development, that will be easy.
For getting admin job, it's a easy task or difficult task?
How should I answer this?
As a fresher, we have so many doubts.
True, valid. Yes. So you said you're a fresher, right? If you're good at the concepts and all, it will be easy. If you are able to get, you clear all your aptitude exams, group discussions, if you're getting a technical round, your job is clear.
In turn, they will ask about Java and C++.
Not really. See, it all depends on how you are expressing yourself, how you are processing yourself.
I'm facing so many interviews that interviews they will ask only Java only.
So now you didn't put any other technology, right, apart from Java in your resume.
No.
So then they will ask you that whatever your resume has, they only pitch on those things, right? When you put up AWS, they'll start asking AWS questions.
Okay.
Anyone, any more questions? Did I answer all of your questions?
Shiva, one more last question.
Please,
Are
please
we
go ahead.
going? Are you going to teach Lambda as well as a part of the training?
Yes, Lambda is there.
Okay. Okay.
Lambda
How many
is
modules?
Lambda is. I never counted the number though, but yes, like I said, most of the important tools have been covered. If you take Lambda was not included previously, and Lambda is not a part of Solution Architect Associate, but that's still a part of it because that is very much needed for you when you get into interviews. Cloud formations are not part of Solution Architect Associate, but that is involved here. That is included here because that's very much important.
Okay, what
Okay.
about the FPGA module?
What about the
FPGA module. FPGA.
FBGA?
FPGA.
What does that mean?
Field Programmable Gate Array. Something is there.
I'm hearing for the first time.
Total 9 modules are there now. In this 9
What are those
modules,
nine?
I don't know what are those.
And then I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that.
Told it to me. That is FPGA's new modules added to the modules.
You mean to say AWS modules?
Ah, yes. Okay, leave it.
Even Amazon doesn't know it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, any more questions, guys, or shall I go with this slide?
Am I able to clear?
If someone is talking, I cannot hear you guys.
Shiva, am I audible?
Yep, yep. If you can be a bit louder, that will be good.
This is Priyanka. Currently, I'm working as a Wintel admin. Actually, I want to do
Okay.
SysOp certification.
Hmm.
Am I able to clear after these all sessions?
See, SysOps is altogether a different session, though. But my end, what I would say is clearing the SysOps is easy, but for that you should get into this, and there is also other concepts that you need to work upon.
Okay.
Okay, see, architecting is something which we cover at a architecture perspective. SysOps is something that we talk about on day-to-day operations, right?
Yeah.
But yes, most of the things, even like I said, this course is designed with all of those things. We have included solution architect associate topics, SysOps topics, as well as the developer topics as well.
Okay.
But with some practical and theoretical concepts after the sessions, you should be able to clear the exam as well. There are no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Okay, I can help you with that. No problem.
Yeah. Thank you, Shiva.
Thank you. So, guys, in a broad sense, what does an architect does? Imagine, we talk about architects, right? A building architect. What does a building architect do, guys? He builds, right? He knows where to put what. He understands the outcome of the things. He understands the client requirement. He understands the budget. Based on the budget available, based on the timelines, based on the client requirement, he is going to build something for us. That's what architect mean, right? And same goes here as well. As an AWS architect, your job is to build according to the customer requirements, keeping the budget in mind. Okay, so to talk about that, there are so many things that comes up. You might have to build a high availability infrastructure, fault tolerance infrastructure, scalable infrastructure, and that should meet up to the client requirements, right? That may include migrations of your application. That may include copying the data from on-premise to cloud or cloud to on-premise, protecting the data, securing the data. These all are part of a solution architect. I cannot just tell you 2 points saying that these are the things. Everything that you see, everything that you hear in AWS is all done by an architect in a simple terms. And you as an architect should be familiar with all of those things. Like cost optimizations, best practices, data management, database management, migrating the data, establishing network connections. This is all part of an architect. And you will have this understanding at the end of the sessions. Okay. And my confidence is that you can straight away put around 1.5 to 2 years of experience, saying that you have a real-time experience working with AWS. Clear? Hello.
Yeah, Shiva, this is Prasad. I would like to know, like, as part of web services, do we need to write any APIs or something like that?
No, no, you are not developer. Developers take care of it.
So you said like we will start up as a admin, ultimately we will become as a developer only, right?
So writing an API is not our role. Our role is to just write scripts to automate the tasks and all. Writing an API is not our job. It's a developer's job.
You mean to say AWS developer job, or
Yes.
somebody is using in
See,
general?
nowhere AWS developer is going to write. Even if AWS developer is also not going to write API call.
Okay.
Okay, API calls are written by the pure developers, application
Yeah,
programmers, one who writes Java code, one who writes .NET code, right? They write API calls.
yeah, because the name itself, web services, in the sense is it's like
Don't go with the name, guys. Amazon has started as a web service, but that's not the limitation that they have. We can do far beyond those web services. Okay,
And are you
so
going to cover any automation examples in this session to see like how the things are going to be happening in automatic way or something
I
like that?
already covered that. Like I said, cloud formation. Cloud formation is Amazon's own automation tool to deploy and configure infrastructure. Lambda function is one of the serverless automation tool to automate your day-to-day activities. Those things will be covered.
Okay. And what are the certification levels involved in like Amazon developer license?
I think I had the slide, but yes, it's not available. Let me put that. There are basically 8 level of certifications, guys, altogether in Amazon. One is associate. Let me write it. Associate, professional, and specialist. Within Solution Architect Associate, we have Solution Architect Associate, Developer Associate, SysOps Associate, and within professional, we have Solution Architect Professional and then DevOps Engineer Professional. In the specialist, we have Big Data Specialist as well as uh, Network Specialist. Something, okay? These are the certification that we have all together, guys. So now what we are getting trained is on this, the name is this, but we'll be covering most of the concepts from developer as well as SysOps associate as well. So these are the three things, the major topics of these are covered in the sessions that we are going to see. Okay. And professional is something which is an exam combination of all of this. So it is a combination of all SysOps, developer and associate solution architect. And as well as it talks something about high availability and fault tolerance, migrations is what we talk in a professional. But I can precisely say that these are the three things that we'll be covering in the sessions. Okay, and if you talk about the the exam price for associate is $150, for professional is $300, and for specialist is also $300. Is that clear?
Hello.
Hello?
DevOps,
Huh?
compulsory learn after.
That has become mandatory, guys, because, like I said, automation is something which everybody is talking about. Okay, so it's all about the skill set. Okay, so as we talk about the skill set, yes, AWS with DevOps is a good combination. The demand is more, the opportunities are more. Okay, any more questions, guys? Okay, guys. Hope I have answered all your questions. This is very beginning, okay, and we can discuss further in the coming sessions. So maybe class will start from tomorrow, like at 7 o'clock. Daily it will be 1 hour session, like Monday to Friday. Okay. So hold back your questions if you have any, and we'll try to discuss further in the coming sessions.
So what
So
are
anyway,
from Monday to Friday
yeah. What are the
timing?
7 to 8, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST.
Okay.
How many days in a week?
5 days, Monday to Friday. Okay. So the first sessions would be very crucial, guys. Assuming everybody is a fresher into infrastructure and all, we'll talk more about the infrastructure setup, the virtualization concepts, why people are getting into cloud. The first I would be concentrating on that so that everybody is on the same page when we get into the concepts. So we'll be talking about the actual infrastructure, what is a storage, what is a network, what is a data center, how do we set up, all those things we'll be discussing in the initial classes, and then we'll enter into the AWS sessions. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you, guys.
One more thing, like one last thing. Are your options? Are you going to? Somebody is going to cover the session, or you are on the who is completing the session?
Can you please repeat? Your voice was not audible.
Actually, if sometimes you are on leave or something, are you going? If somebody is taking over the sessions, or you are the one who is responsible to complete everything?
I will be the one who is taking the sessions.
So,
I will be the one who will be taking the sessions. Okay, guys. Thank you all for taking out your time, and hope you enjoyed this session, and hope I have addressed all the questions that you have. But still, if you have any after you do your research and all, you're always good to ask the questions in the coming sessions. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.